Hi there, welcome back. Tragedy. The woeful but common end to the lives of many. Usually it's the undeserving that suffer tragedy in real life, and in the chronicles of ancient Greece it is no different. The greatest of the Olympians and citizens often suffered for a myriad of reasons. Whether it's because a god slightly inconvenienced Zeus, or a citizen slightly inconvenienced Zeus, Zeus was very easily slightly inconvenienced. They suffered greatly for it. On the rare occasion the gods weren't involved, the victims generally were just severely unlucky and met brutal ends. Fortunately for us, it makes for a great video, so let's talk about it. This tale begins with Icarus's hot-headed father, Daedalus. Daedalus labored as an artisan in Athens with his extremely talented protege named Talus. Daedalus was angry and envious of Talus, so he pushed him off an 160-meter tall cliff named the Rock of Acropolis and killed him. In some cases, Talus was actually saved by Athena, the goddess of wisdom, when she turned him into a bird before he plummeted to his death. After this, Daedalus was charged with murder and had no choice but to flee to the island of Crete, where he sought and found shelter from the fury of Athens. Daedalus began his new life working in the palace of King Minos. He eventually married a permanent forced assistant named Naucrate. Together they had Icarus. Under the instruction of King Minos, Daedalus was to build a space where the Minotaur could be safely contained and kept under control. Daedalus came up with a complex labyrinth instead that worked so well no human creature or really anything could escape it. Unfortunately for Daedalus, King Minos wanted the Minotaur's existence to stay a secret, so he tossed Daedalus and his family into a prison. In hindsight, it probably would have been better just to kill them, but I guess he didn't have to given their fates. Daedalus gathered bird feathers and transformed them into wings using wax. Their opportunity to escape prison finally came, and they took it. Icarus was warned not to fly too close to the sun, but he did not listen, so his wings melted and he fell into the sea and died on impact. Medea,
Hello, it's me.
not you. You was an enchantress and the daughter of King Aedes and Aedea of Colchis. Colchis is a city on the coast of the Black Sea. Colchis is most known for it being the city where the Golden Fleece comes from. Medea's family line is actually interesting because her grandparents on her mother's side are Oceanus and Tethys. Oceanus is the oldest of all the Titans and he is the god and incarnation of fresh water. Tethys is a Titan and goddess of freshwater as well. They're also brother and sister, so yay! Incest! Also, her grandfather is Helios, Titan of the sun. Moving on, Jason is a Greek hero who is quested to retrieve the Golden Fleece. The goddesses on Olympus gained interest in this quest, and Aphrodite convinced her son Eros, who you might know as Cupid, to shoot Medea with his arrow. This made her fall in love with Jason. Jason took his heroes, named the Argonauts, and traveled to Colchis. When he arrived, he asked King Aedes for the Golden Fleece, and he said yes, only if Jason could complete 2 tasks. He did so, but Aedes refused to give him the fleece anyway. When night came, Medea led Jason to the fleece and they escaped Colchis together on Jason's ship the Argo. Aedes caught wind of his daughter's treachery and assembled his men, including Medea's own brother, Apsyrtus. Despite their blood relations, Medea didn't hold back on Apsyrtus and killed him. She then chopped him into pieces and tossed them into the ocean to stagnate Aedes' pursuit. It actually worked as they were able to get away. After a few hiccups, Medea and Jason eventually ended up going to Corinth and lived happily for a few years. Things began to change when Jason became discontent with their marriage and decided to marry Glauce, daughter of King Creon. Medea was furious and knew exactly how to get her revenge. When the day of the wedding came, Medea sent an alluring golden crown, as well as the white robe. The instant Glauce put them on, she and everyone at the wedding besides Jason were incinerated by the flames that were unable to be put out. Medea's final act of vengeance was to stab her and Jason's children to death. Medea had a few more action-packed adventures, but this one was the most interesting in my opinion. In most stories, Medea's death isn't specified, which suggests she died of natural causes. I know this one was a little long, but I hope you enjoyed it, so let's move on now. Do you remember when I said Zeus was very easily slightly inconvenienced? Well, he's also cruel, petty, unreasonable, and basically every negative adjective you can think of. And the story of Prometheus is an excellent example of this. Prometheus is the titan of fire and an incredible trickster. Additionally, he was one of the main leaders in the war between the gods and the titans. He was definitely one of the kinder deities in Greek mythology, so of course Zeus makes him suffer for it. The humans at the time were freezing, starving, and barely holding on to the mortal plane. Prometheus took notice of this and figured he should take action. He decided to steal fire from Zeus and give it as well as metalwork to the frail humans, and he was successful. Oh no, he was successful. Zeus found out about Prometheus's misdeed, and because he dared to betray the almighty ruler of the gods, he received a brutal punishment. Zeus chained Prometheus to a rock and had an eagle eat his liver. The best part is, unlike the Titans and Gods in the God of War franchise, Titans and Gods in actual Greek mythology cannot be killed. So Prometheus kept regenerating his liver overnight just for his liver to get devoured in the morning over and over and over again. Some versions of the story say that Prometheus was stuck there for 30,000 years. Luckily, a hero showed up, and his name was Heracles, who you might know as Hercules. Under the order of Zeus, Heracles killed the eagle and freed Prometheus from the rock. In some variants of this story, Zeus and Prometheus surprisingly made peace. In others, Prometheus never regained Zeus's forgiveness or trust, and he was chained to the rock for eternity. Man, Prometheus can't catch a break. Ixion was the king of Lapiths. Lapiths are regular humans of northern Greece and had a fierce rivalry with the Centaur. Ixion was incredibly arrogant and self-centered, and this caused everyone in about a 4-inch radius to despise him. Additionally, his arrogance ultimately led to his downfall. Ixion got married to a woman named Dia, but refused to pay the bride price. So her father and Ixion's father-in-law, Deianus, stole some of his horses. This infuriated Ixion, and he knew exactly how he would get his revenge. He invited Deianus to lavish dinner and acted like he was a close friend. He then shoved Deianus into a pit with scorching coals and literally cooked him. The other kings and religious figures abandoned him, so no one could do Deianus' funeral. Zeus takes pity on Ixion, probably because they have such similar personality traits, and invites him to Olympus. Ixion thanks Zeus for his kindness by essentially spitting in his face because he ends up seducing Zeus's wife / sister, Hera. Zeus is understandably upset about this because he has an incredibly deep relationship with Hera and never cheated on her a day in his immortal life. Anyway, Zeus decided to punish Ixion for the rest of eternity. He blasted him with an enormous thunderbolt, tied him to a burning wheel, which also spun for eternity, and tossed him into space. In some versions of this story, Zeus tossed Ixion into Tartarus, which is basically hell in Greek mythology. The lesson here, kids, don't be Ixion. Wow, Greek mythology is dark and messed up. There are also way too many stories for me to cover in one video. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So I guess we better move on for now. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe, tell your friends about me, stay tuned for more. I'll see you next time.